It is time for the revenge of the couch. Welcome back to the place where it all began, where all the great thoughts and big ideas started. The original Frostburg State University couch. So yeah, we're back on the old thing, and I just wanted to celebrate the occasion by talking about something I've been debating about talking, and that is criticism. Now, if you watch my show, you'll notice that I don't ever really criticize things. And I do that for a reason, because I like to ask questions and not just state my opinion to everyone. Just instead say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think this means? But I am also a man of exceptions, and on this episode, I'm going to make exceptions. And I might regret it, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to be talking about 5 things I think are overhyped, that everyone else just seems to love, and I just look and say, I don't get it. So, before I begin this list, I'd like to give a warning. I might be criticizing some of your favorite things, from Charlie Brown, Seinfeld, it could be anything. And if you want to leave now, feel free. Just turn off the video, and I won't blame you. No one will think bad of you. But if you truly want to keep going, you have only yourself to blame. At number 5, Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is often regarded as a great guy. People who meet him say he is really nice. And I'm sure he is. But as far as acting goes, I can't say that I enjoy him. I think he's pretty bland. I can't even recall any movie where I thought he did a good job. And I know what you all are thinking. What about Silence of the Lamb? He did great as Hannibal Lecter. Honestly, I felt he was just, in that movie, the regular slick-back James Bond villain. I don't think he did a really good job with it. And in Thor, he's playing Odin. He's supposed to be this big, commanding ruler. But instead, he's up there, and he's just kind of being Anthony Hopkins, you know? That's pretty much the only thing he ever gives to a role. And Anthony Hopkins, I'm sure you're interested in real life, but you don't translate very well on the screen. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not honed into what Anthony Hopkins is doing, but I don't think he's very good. And he always says that you shouldn't be a method actor, but watching him, I wonder if you just probably should do whatever Anthony Hopkins isn't doing. At number 4, the Christmas Cookie Song. You all are going to think that I don't like country music. And I just want you to know that I love country music. I like Hank Williams and Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard as much as the next guy. But the dumbest song I have ever heard, actually the dumbest thing I have ever witnessed, has came from country music. And it is this song, the Christmas Cookie Song. I'm going to sing a little piece of it for you. Now, Christmas cookies are a special treat. The more she bakes, the more I eat. And sometimes I can't get myself to stop. Sometimes she'll wait till I'm asleep, and she'll take the ones I didn't eat and put those little sprinkly things on top. George Strait, I am sure you are a great singer, but what were you thinking when you wrote this song? What is this even about? What kind of artistic merit does it have? It's about a guy who likes when his wife bakes Christmas cookies, but he eats too many. What kind of concept is that for a song? It's something that a 5th grader would hand in to their teacher, and the 5th grader teacher would be like, oh, that's pretty good, but she wouldn't pay money for it. She wouldn't want it in the professional field. But somehow this song made it into the professional field. And I don't know really if you can call this song overrated, because I'm not sure exactly how popular it is, but it's popular enough that I have to say it's overrated to me. At number 3, Dilbert. The Sunday comics aren't really a place that I go for a great laugh. I mean, I don't know. I'll read a comic and I'll be like, yeah, that was funny. Charlie Brown missed the football. I guess I could laugh at that. But I don't really see any of the comics as being bad or good, with one exception. I just see Dilbert as being one of the worst comics I have ever read. It's just bland. And there's only one funny Dilbert cartoon I remember. He was in this office and there was this woman talking and she was kind of droning on and on. So he pulls this lever and he shoots out of the office in this ejector seat. And that was it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I haven't been in the workplace long enough, but it's over my head. Anyways, these next two go on for a little bit long, but I think you all will enjoy them. It's very interesting, my perspective on these things.
At number 2, Mad Max Fury Road.
I felt a bit guilty about putting this one on the list because I honestly don't think it's a bad film. In fact, I would recommend it. I think it's enjoyable. I just don't know if I'd put it as one of the greatest films ever made, in the same line as movies like Casablanca and Gone with the Wind. Mad Max Fury Road, in my opinion, is just a dumb action movie, in the style of Michael Bay. You know, Michael Bay, he's a lot of fun. He does a lot of great technical things, you know, shooting cars into buildings, making the whole world his playground. But I think we all know that he probably isn't one of the greatest directors to ever live. And that's kind of how I feel about this movie. And you know what really messes with me is there's a lot of things it does wrong, things that people yell at other movies about so much, but for some reason Mad Max Fury Road was able to get away with. You know, the dwarves and the hobbits, how you can't really tell them apart. Mad Max Fury Road, those girls, I didn't even know their name. The villain from Dark Knight Returns, you know, his muffled voice. Mad Max Fury Road does the exact same thing, gets away with it. And the movie's trying to be this realistic film. Everything makes sense in it. But at the same time, everything that's happening is so absurd. Why not just be a fantastic film? Why not just be a fantasy? It's just silly to me. And everyone gave it such high praise. The Oscars, Honest Trailers, Cinemassacres, Rotten Tomatoes, everything wrong with. Just everybody. And no one was willing to criticize it. And I think there's really good reasons to. So, my final thoughts on it are this. If you like Mad Max Fury Road, you have to like The Polar Express. They're the same movie. That's the rule now. You have to like them both.
At number 1, Game of Thrones.
I know what you all are thinking. Seth Lewis, you love Lord of the Rings. You must be a big fan of Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones is on your bookshelf. Logically, we can deduce that you like it. And to answer your question, yes, I have read Game of Thrones. Or at least the first book. That was as far as I was able to make it. And I personally think that it is dull. It is boring. I couldn't even really tell what was going on in it. And there's a couple of problems that I have with this book. One, there was this boy, and he falls off this tower, and he dies. And I was sitting there, and I was thinking to myself, you know what would be a stupid plot twist? If that boy came back to life. And I'm reading, and then the boy comes back to life, and death doesn't matter in the Game of Thrones universe. Then this other time, this girl gives birth to these dragons. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, that isn't how magical biology works. Girls do not give birth to dragons. That is dumb. And then there's this Tyrion character who is just a snot. I just hate him. I just wanted to wring his neck. He, for me, represents everything intellectually stupid about this world. Now, I have never watched the Game of Thrones television show. But in my defense, the reason I haven't watched it is because every time I turn on that television and watch just a snippet of it, it is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. I just could go on and on about the moments I have witnessed. One time, this girl was naked and she was just walking across the street and people were throwing poop at her. And it was like, quality entertainment there, guys. Critically praised. Then in another scene, this woman, naked, is giving birth to this smoke monster. And then everyone's fighting over this throne in this court, and the throne is made out of swords, and I'm like, that is not a comfortable seat. That does not look like it would be a good place to sit. So, yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I just think this show is dumb. I wanted to like it because it was pretty much a ripoff of Lord of the Rings, but I just couldn't get into it. And if you do, that's fine, but it will never be my thing.
The end.
So, those are 5 things that I'm really not a big fan of, that everybody else seems to love. And I just wanted to thank all of you for letting me express my frustration with these 5 things. And I am never going to talk about anything I find overrated again. I'm just going to keep my lips sealed and let you all just enjoy what you enjoy. I just needed one episode, one exception, and this was it. The fact that these 5 are on this list shows something about how I think and shows what I really don't like. I will say that. But anyways, I've got to be heading out. I got some stuff to do. See you all around.
Halt, Seth Lewis. We heard what you said about our favorite thing, and we want you to take it back or die. Yes, take it back or die.
Oh, good grief. Look, I'm sorry what I said about Game of Thrones. I'm not really that big of a fan. Maybe it's just because I like Lord of the Rings so much.
We couldn't care less about Game of Thrones. No, we are speaking about that other thing you criticized. The Christmas Cookie Song by George Strait.
The Christmas Cookie Song? That's what you all are defending? Oh my gosh.
You just don't get the artistic merits to that song. An entire organization has been made to protect its sanctity. Now, say that you like it or die.
No, it's dumb. It's dumb.
Silence! Come on, Seven. We better get out of here. Coming, sir.
I sure do like those Christmas cookies, sugar. I sure do like those Christmas cookies, babe. The ones that look like Santa Claus, Christmas trees and bells and stars. I sure do like those Christmas cookies, babe.